So this is Scrapebox Blog Commenter Part 2. Just shortened the prior video just to comply with YouTube's video time length limitations. So let's jump right in. We were talking about how we were test spinning our comments and that sort of thing. And so let's talk about, before we actually get going, because we've chosen our platform and we've chosen and loaded up all of our files, so we could hit start posting, but there's probably some settings that we need to look at to make sure that we have everything set. So adjacent to this area over here is the proxies section. So if you're going to use proxies, you want to make sure obviously that you check the use proxies box. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and use some private proxies, and these are authenticating off my IP address. You can use public proxies, and the proxy manager is a different video, but you can get your public proxies or your private proxies. When posting, private proxies are going to be obviously faster and have a much higher success rate. Public proxies are going to be slower. As proxies die or fail out in the middle of your post, you're going to lose potential comments. So, if you post with public proxies, you can always, when you get done, you can export here and you can export the failed ones and you can repost to the failed ones. If it's your choice which one to use. Obviously, it's going to be a much better user experience on your end if you go ahead and get some private proxies for posting, but public proxies will work. That's up to you. As far as other settings that you can use up top here under settings, there's adjust maximum connections. So if we go into the maximum connections down here under fast poster, since that's what we're talking about, it's set to 100 from another run that I've done here. Let's leave it at 100. Let's take it down here to like 50 connections just for the sake of it. And then under settings as well is timeouts. And so my fast poster is set to 30 seconds. That's a default. We'll go ahead and leave that for now. And then as you further go in here to settings, there are things like set country of origin for Blog Engine. Blog Engine blogs support another element that lets you choose what country you're from, and so you can go into the set country of origin here and you can choose, like I'm from the US, so I can choose US, or if I'm from the United Kingdom, I can choose that, or whatever you would choose your country here if that's applicable. Particularly, that would be especially applicable if I have a website about that targets something in Iceland, and I want to say I'm from Iceland and I'm commenting on sites that are from Iceland. I'd want to put Iceland here, because if I put that I'm from the United States and I'm commenting on stuff for Iceland, it may not go over as well. But you can set that in there for whatever you want to set it for. There's also the option under settings to randomize your comment poster blog lists. What this does is it randomizes the list in the order that blogs are commented to. And what that means is if I scrape 10,000 blogs and I happen to have 150 URLs from one particular blog, like say I have Cavalier Cookie here, and I have 150 or maybe 250 or 1,000 pages from this one particular site. Scrapebox, a lot of times, depending on how you've manipulated your lists, they may be sorted alphabetically to apply some filters. And so it would sort all these in order. And so Scrapebox comments in the exact same order that happens. So if I just go ahead and load these down here or load up a list, it's just going to, as you see these here, it runs through these in the exact order that they're here. So and if I had connections set to say 500 and there were 1,000 websites on 1,000 URLs in this one particular website, it could try to load 500 URLs from the same website at once. Now that's first bad because you're using proxies, so it could effectively appear to the web server that you're trying to load like a small DDoS, like you're trying to attack their server, which could then deny you from commenting on any of their pages, as well as crash their server. They won't be happy if you crash their server and are more likely to research their logs and file a complaint, which, with proxies is usually not a big issue, but, especially if you had unchecked this proxy box and you were trying to load 500 pages from your, home or personal IP address, they could file a complaint with your ISP. Now, generally, this is, complaints, like I said, are usually not an issue, and nothing illegal there, so no big deal, but it's generally something that you just don't want to have to deal with. And so there's an option here to avoid that. Plus, more importantly than that is going to be if you crash the web server or if it denies you ability to comment, then you're going to lose the option to comment on all those pages. So the randomize option here, just in short, it just randomizes them, it puts them in random order. So if you have a list of 100,000 and that 1,000 is spread out, it's only going to load one or two pages off that website at a time. And so at the end of the day, the web server will never think anything different happened. It just thinks pages got loaded and comments were posted. So definitely recommended to use the randomized comment poster blog lists for your lists. And then once all of that is set up and you have it all set up the way that you like it, let's just hit start posting. And so you can see down here, and I just pulled some random blogs. I didn't filter these. Usually I would do a little bit of filtering first. There's lots of options, but you can see even with an unfiltered list that I just pulled straight from Google, 28 successes, 66 failed, and it's almost done here. In a matter of seconds, you can see last operation took, we're up to 21, 22 seconds now, and all but two of them are done. They probably just have big pages or something to that effect. So pretty fast. 31 seconds there, and it finished 97. I certainly couldn't have probably gotten through typing out one comment on one page in 31 seconds, much less two, and certainly not 97. And then it asks when this is done if you'd like to go ahead and post using the slow poster, because Scrapebox found blogs that might work with the slow poster that won't work with fast poster. So you then have the option to go ahead and get some fresh proxies, to say yes or to say no. So I'll just say yes in this case, and what happens is it brings up the slow poster. Now, had I just loaded this list and wanted to use slow poster, I would have simply checked this particular box right here and used that. And so then I would just hit start posting. But under slow poster, there's a couple of settings that might be important that you might want to change, and we haven't talked about those, so I'll just close out of this for now. And then it says comment poster is completed. On that fast posting run, I have the option of exporting all entries, the successful ones, the failed ones, any kind of CAPTCHA ones. I can add it to lists, I can create reports and all that sort of stuff, clearing it out and that sort of thing as well.